Hey guys, how are y'all doing? How's your day going? And if you're just starting, how was your night? Hope you had or are having an amazing day. For those of you who don't know this yet, my name is Praise and you're currently tuned into my channel. If you're not yet subscribed, please do so. Give this video a like and share it to whoever you feel would want to watch this video. But without further ado, today with me is my sister. She has like zero idea of coding. So I decided to use this opportunity to teach you and her HTML, the very first foundation of programming. But if this is not the video you want to learn, I am a Python developer, so you can go to my playlist and you see every single playlist I've done for Python, especially the recent one I just released, which is CS50's Python, that is Harvard's Python course, which we're still doing live on TikTok, and my 10 days to Python crash course. But yeah, let's jump into it. So I have like an outline here so that we can be using that to guide you. So I'll be sure to cover all the basics. Okay. If you have any question, feel free to ask. So the first thing, HTML. Do you have any idea of what HTML is? So you don't have any idea what HTML is. HTML is a markup language. You know what a website is. You know what your web pages are. The thing that gives it structure, not styling, structure. The things that lets you know, okay, write this text, put this here, is your HTML. Like, okay, let's open a website. Like you can see this website, you can see all these text, you can see all these logos, you can see all these buttons and stuff. It's HTML codes that generate it. Then you can now style it further with style code, which is the next one we're going to jump into, CSS. So HTML stands for hypertext markup language. There are still other markup language, like XML is a markup language, but I think that one is mostly for app development. I've never worked with it, but I know XML works hand in hand with Java mostly when you're working with app. But HTML is a markup language for web apps. Like you use it to just give it your app a structure. Like when we start running HTML code, it's going to look very ugly, very very ugly. Then after you finish giving your code a structure, you now make use of CSS, that is cascading style sheet, to now beautify it. Then it's now add more extra functionality, like you see all those fancy okay, you see all this fancy login, all this stuff. You know that one is JavaScript. You want to make your project a bit more dynamic. Then if you now want to take a step further, you can now start making use of some JavaScript frameworks or some Python frameworks. I went the Python route. So do you understand these few things I just explained? So what is the full meaning of HTML? Hypertext markup language. Do you get it? What is it? Huh? What did you say? Okay. And what is HTML used for? No. For your, it's kind of like the foundation of your web page. Structure. HTML equals structure. See, HTML equals structure, CSS equals styling, JavaScript equals functionality. So HTML equals structure. All right. So your HTML files, do you know what a file extension is? Like, if you look at this one here. Okay. All right. She's going to bring a book and pen. So let's give her a minute. All right. So file extensions is kind of like what lets your computer know what type of file it is. I'm sure this is a better way to explain it. But for example, you see like some files that say .html, which is a HTML file. The HTML files are either the extensions for HTML files .html. You can see it now. You see the name of the file. Although if you are checking it in your file explorer, I don't think they usually show it. Let me look. Okay, I see this one. They don't usually show it. They'll just show the name of the file. But if you now either highlight it, you see type PHP. So this is a PHP file. Then if you click on the file and go to maybe properties, that's when you now see what type of file it is. So you can see type of file, PHP source file, extension.php. So you users, like in your front end, basically you wouldn't see it. But for the computer to be able to understand how to treat that file, because like don't you ever ask yourself, how does the computer know that this is an image? Have you ever asked yourself that question when you're using your phone? Like when I click on this, how does it know that this is not a video? How does it know that this is not a song? How is it sure that it's an image? Or how is this sure is a book? Or how is this sure that this is an app? Because apps have extensions too. Have you ever asked yourself that question? No. Shame on you. So Your computer needs to understand the file to know how to handle the file. Because imagine me now writing a HTML code in a .css file and expecting it to run as HTML code. Even if my code is correct, because the way I save the file is not correct, my program is going to crash. So when you're saving a HTML code, you either use .html. No, okay, yes, .html is the one you should use. .html. I wanted to say .htm, then L entered my mouth. .htm, people use that, but no. Just use .html as your HTML file extension. So your name, the name of your file, dot small letter HTML. All right. So I've already done you a favor and created a HTML file, which I was, which is, what is this? I was working on something. Where's this file saved? I don't even know. What is this? Okay, not important. All right. So we have our HTML file created. When you're creating a file, okay, let's create a new file. Let me just open up a terminal quickly so we can create a new file. So if you are creating it on your front end, you just right click, now to create a new file on your computer now. Well, let me open up the location where we are right now. So if I wanted to create a new file on my system, right click, you see new here, right? You can now, oh wow, I don't think you can do it from the back end. I'm used to, you can, you should. Yes, okay. Sorry, I'm thinking about folder. You go to where you're writing code from. If you're writing it on, you can use Word document to write. You need a text editor. What document to write code? Yes, you just need a text editor. Any place you can write a code is a text editor. Although we have these things called IDEs, integrated dev- I forgot what they call them, but something integrated something environment. I don't know if it's development. Don't quote me on that, but it's integrated something environment. So that one is like it's a smarter environment, a smarter tool for working with programs. HTML, I doubt HTML have it because people don't classify HTML as a programming language. But when I'm working with more complex language, like I'm a Python developer, so the ID for Python is PyCharm. The ID for Android development, usually Java and Kotlin, is Android Studio. Yeah, get where I'm trying to go. So there are special IDs, but if you don't want to make use of an ID, there are things called text editor. Now, if I'm going to be honest, I don't know if Visual Studio Code is going to be an ID or a text editor because it's so smart. They're like, I don't use PyCharm. I use Visual Studio Code. I love Visual Studio Code. But when I started coding newly, do you remember this man? Do you remember Mr. Sam from AGS? Mr. Sam, that computer teacher, that big yellow guy. So him and Mr. Today were the ones who introduced me to programming. So Mr. Sam, the app he gave me to use to code was this Sublime Text. So then I think it was either him or Mr. Today that now gave me this Notepad plus plus. So let me just browse you through all the what has really asked. So you can use Word document text, just that you don't enjoy it because it's created for mostly just text writing. So like when you're coding with the perfect text editor ID, you enjoy the program you're writing. Like Visual Studio Code, like there's this plugin that is in Visual Studio Code. It's very smart. It will complete your code based on previous codes you have written. Smart. But so this is it. CQRS. So this is Sublime Text. It's a good text editor. It's just not an ID. It doesn't. I don't think Sublime Text has a terminal. If you're working in Sublime Text and you want to run the code, you have to leave and go and run it in your own command prompt or terminal, depending on the OS you're using. Then there's Notepad plus plus. There is this Notepad plus plus. You know that Notepad that comes by default to your computer. That ugly Notepad. This the plus plus version of it. This one is like was created for coding. So you can anything that can you can use to write text on, you can write codes in. All right. So but using Visual Studio Code because Visual Studio Code has its own inbuilt terminal and we can run the code with it. So if you are running on Visual if you're running on Visual Studio Code, one way to go about saving your file is just now we're in a new file. You can just create you can just come to file and just say new file. Then a new file will come. You now write what you want to save the file as. Or if you're using Visual Studio Code, I don't know if your terminal will read it. If you're using Visual Studio Code, you can just type in code, that's CODE, the name you want to save the file as. So let's use test.html. So a new window is going to pop up on our screen. Yeah, I think it's not showing here because we have not saved it. Once you now save it, you know how to save now. Control S. Once you now save it, the file is here. So that is one very easy way to create it. Or you know when you're writing on Word document, you start typing in the word, then it's not saved, you're just going to be document. And when you now press Control S, you now ask it to add write a name and add an extension. So saving file is not your problem. Alright, so in HTML and in plenty programming languages, they have this thing they have this thing called syntax. It's kind of like the main guide, the main structure of how your code should look. So HTML has its own syntax. So let's start with the first one. The first one is doc type. So it's going to be exclamation mark, then DOC. Just wait for me to finish writing everything so you copy it. DOCT, and then let's write everything's in capital letter. Okay, my own is teaching Django template. Sorry, and HTML. All right. So in capital letter, doc type. So this basically just means document type. What type of document are you writing? Are you trying to run? And the type of document you're trying to run is HTML. So just type HTML. Some people may write HTML5, HTML. There are different types of HTML, but just write doc type HTML. That should be the first line of all your HTML codes. After that, you now have you now write HTML. This one now you're seeing there are two HTML. One is just plain HTML, and the other one has this backslash. So this one now this is your opening of the tag, and here is your closing tag. Now it's not every single tags in HTML. This stuff, anything you see in this bracket like this, they are called tags. Now it's not every single tags in HTML that are closed. Some tags, like we'll see shortly, BR tags, they are not closed. I don't think image tags are closed either. But almost every single tags in HTML have to be closed. So when you want to close a tag, you just do backslash and write the name of the tag again. So this is HTML, and we'll close with HTML tag. Now within this HTML tag, we now have this thing 1 to 3. So your tag is divided into two sections: the head and the body. So let's take that head and body. So the head is what is going to hold all the information. Let's open a web page. Like the head is going to hold this. You're seeing this stuff that is up here, this Python no URL. That is the title of the tag. So the title of the tag is going to be enclosed in the head. There are still many other things happening in the background that you cannot see, like linking of your CSS style, linking of your JavaScript file. If they made use of Bootstrap, linking of your Bootstrap. We'll get into that. Don't rush yourself. And then they also have meta tags. Meta tags. So in when you're working with websites, even in social media, there's this stuff called SEO. Is what allows like social media to suggest your video or your sorry, we're talking about website, to suggest your website to the right people who are looking for it. You understand? So it's kind of like a pointer. So you now in your meta tag, you now in that's where you can enclose the language your site is in and different things. Also, if you want to make your site responsive, all these things are done in the head. So the head tag holds information that don't concern us, the users. While the body tag, so everything from here to here is the body tag. Everything that we are seeing. If you want to add anything to your website that you want to display, it's going to be in the body tag. So the head tag holds details and information about the website, things that may or may not be seen by the users. Depend like the title tags, we can see it as users because this is the title tag up here. But other things like we cannot do we know the name of the CSS file that is linked here? We don't. We don't know the name of any file that is linked here. But all those things are included in the head tag. So head tags are information about the website. Body tags are now is now the display front of the website, the main website that the users are going to see. So when I was talking about head tag, I mentioned title tag, right? So that's just title. So inside here is now where you have the name you want to call the site. So we can call it I know it's French. Um, so inside your title tag, you're going to have let's just give it a random name. My website. All right. And we're not working with all these meta tags. We're not leaving CSS now. So we'll just leave just the title tag we're going to pass there. Then in the body, let's just write a statement. Let's not call in any other tag here. Let's just write a statement so we can run it and see. Hello world. And let's save it. So if we come to where we save the file, it's going to look like a normal website. You know this is how website files look, because HTML codes are web pages literally. So if we just were to click on it and run it, it's going to open on your browser. So if you wanted to edit, if you wanted to open up your HTML file and edit, you have to right click and open with your text editor. Because if you just click open, it's going to open the website. So you can see here, what do we have here? Where do we put hello world? What do we have here? Where do we put my website? What was it? Where do we put it? No, where do we put it inside the tag and put that tag inside head? Title tag. You have forgotten this now, no, no. We enclose it in title tag, and title tag is placed in the head tag. Okay, so that is basic your basic introduction to um HTML. Let me see, let me see, let me see. Right. Let me introduce you to some of the HTML basic tags. So there are certain tags that every single person that works with HTML is going to come across. So I'm going to first, because I don't work with, like, I work with HTML, but no, it's not my main thing I do. So I'm just going to like call like the main ones I know that you cannot escape. Then as we advance, we'll now start jumping into these other ones. Okay. All right. So let's just come to the body tag. Okay. So the first thing you must know in any single programming language is this stuff called comments. What do you think comments are? Guess it correct, and I'm going to give you something. What do you think comments are?
No, before question, there's this
There's this thing called comments. What do you think
comment
comments are? In programming, in every single programming language in this world have what they call comments. Just that when you're making comments, the syntax will be different, but every single programming language in this world have what they call comments.
I think there are extra things that happen, like the business. So like I think like let's say now, like in a game now, you're already in the code, but expecting
I don't understand. I feel like you're getting it, but I feel like you're not getting it. Like you're managing to confuse me so much. Extra thing that happens as in how.
like it's not the main, but it's like part of
Explain for that because you're on the right track. Explain for that. Explain for that. Clarify your explanation because you're it's still very broad.
like
Don't drift too far from where you are because you're very, very close.
it's like back
Backstage as in how.
is some I don't know like an additional code like more effects that will happen or not.
More effects that will happen when you run it. No. Try give me one. Give me one last try. Because you are still very close. You are just refusing to open it. Give me one last try.
You're not into any comment in this
No. Just give me even if I write a comment now, you'll still be lost. So just give me one last try. Come on, you got it. You're very close, very, very close for guessing off your head. You're very close.
thing.
You don't know? Alright. You are really close though. Comments are documentations. There are things that you as a programmer put in your program, so that maybe if you were to leave your code for a while, when you come back, you still know what's happening. Or if you're, let's say, working with a group of people, other people know what you are currently doing on the code. So you were wrong when you said that runs later. A comment is not readable by the computer. It's just human notes. It's kind of like your to-do list. So every single programming language have how they write their comments. But if you want to write a comment in Python, let's comment out this hello world we did here. So if you want to write out a comment in HTML, is this stuff, an exclamation mark, two dots like this, and after it, at the ending of where you want your comments to end, you now put this and this. So you have noticed everything is green now. So any single thing that is enclosed, so this is the structure, this stuff, exclamation mark, two dashes, the thing you want to comment, two dashes after it, and close. Do you understand? So if I save it now, what do you think is going to happen when I run my code? Yes, the hello world isn't going to show anymore because the computer cannot read our comments. Do you understand? Very, very straightforward. So it's just a guide, a to-do list, a documentation for the developer to use and understand. Because especially once your program starts getting large, once you start writing thousands of codes, you would get lost, you get confused. So you need to be commenting as you go. Might have a bad habit of not really commenting so much, not good. But sometimes if my laptop just dies on me once it comes back, and I'm not trying to like go line by line on the last page that was opened to understand what was happening. So to prevent that, you need to comment as you code. So it's going to prevent you from catching all these errors. Now that I've covered comments, let's go into the first tag, heading tags. So in heading tags, there are six heading tags going from H1 to H6. So let's just put like this. One, two, three, four, five, six. Well, when we started anything. So your heading tags is just this page, then you have the numbers. Let's just write all the numbers out first, and we're going to correct it. So you have H1 is H2, H3, H4, 5, and 6. So what do you think is the difference between all these codes here that we just wrote out?
The difference, difference.
What is the difference between H1 and H2 and H3, H4, 5, and 6? Because all of them are heading tags, right? So why do we not just call everything H? Why do you have to say, oh, this is H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6? No idea at all. Give it just one lucky guess.
In case you want to
No. When you want to start with that, we're going to introduce IDs and class. But the reason why we have H1 is because there are different sizes. Yeah, I don't know if you have seen them on Word documents. You see those headings. You know some headings are bigger than others. So H1 is the largest heading and H6 is the smallest heading. So let's save it now. Let's run it. See, can you see it? H1, H2, H3, 4, 5, and 6. All of them are bold, but their sizes are reducing, they're declining. Then, even I want to work with paragraphs. So the paragraph tag is very simple. It's just P. So you just write this is a paragraph. So this one is just your normal paragraphs when you're writing your notes, and that's just it.
so like it would naturally be funny.
What?
Like you wouldn't have to write
I don't understand. It's just a paragraph. It's just a block of paragraph. They'll tell you like when you're writing English that you should write a 5 paragraph page stuff. So that's just it. So your paragraph, every time you call a new P tag is a new paragraph you're starting. HTML is not smart enough to break its code on its own. So if you want a code to start on a new line, because if I didn't call paragraph and I just kept writing, it would just be going. Unless maybe your browser is smart enough to break it and sort your code out for
But
you.
there's no paragraph.
Where?
There's no paragraph.
For H1.
Yeah, there's no
This is the
paragraph.
paragraph. Paragraph, it doesn't mean space in front. Paragraph is a new block. So there are certain tags that allows you to jump. So when you call tags like H1 and all that stuff, it jumps to a new line. But if even if see one thing, if inside my paragraph tag here, let's say I was right and there was a very long line and I jumped to a new line and I save it, Python is still reading. Sorry, HTML is still reading one line. So HTML is not smart enough to break sentences on its own. So if you wanted to start a new paragraph in a new block of code, you either have to call a new paragraph tag, or remember that break tag I called for you earlier that I said doesn't need to be closed. So you can now call it. So that break tag, you're just saying, okay, we're done with this line, jump to the next line. So it's just BR.
But I still close.
Can you say any other break tag with backslash? You can't remember how to close paragraph tags. Backslash the name of the tag. That's how you close a paragraph tag. So this is your break tag. We don't need to call any break backslash br. So if we're to save it now, it's now going to automatically jump and start from a new line. Okay. Another thing I told you that didn't need to start from a new page is that didn't need to be closed is your image tag. So let me just get an image and let's just copy it here so we can access it. Like this is a JPEG file. How many image files do you know? Huh? PM, PNG, JPG, GIF, right? GIF, videos without sounds. Okay, so if you wanted to access an image, the way we do it is we call the image tag img. So let me just enclose it. So it's going to be img. The next thing following it is going to be the location of your video. So source src equals to, and you have your inverted comma open and close. It can be this double inverted comma, it can be the single inverted comma, it doesn't really matter, it just has to be inverted comma. Then next you now call, if you want to access it from a website, you put the link to the website here. If you want to access it from your file, which is here, this is the one we want to access. And since they're in the same directory, we don't need to start changing directories. So let's just call it. So the name of the file, you have to write it word for word, OIP dot, you have to add the extension also, JPEG, and let's just end this. So we don't need to close it with dash image tag again. There are more things we can pass in here. We can pass in width if you want to style it. So let's assume the image is going to be too large. So let's pass in a width. So width is like the horizontal size. So let's say we want it to be 200 pixels. So you in coding we have pixels, we have percentage, and there's some other ones. Personally, I was reading about this other new measurement that says better than pixels, but the ones that is either pixel or percentage depending. Percentage is if I'm comparing it to the size of the screen. If I want to cover the whole screen, I'll use 100%. While pixels is if just give it a specific size. I don't care what's around it. So pixels and height. If I didn't do this with the him inside the image tag, I could also do it to my CSS. So let's just use 200 pixels also. Let's save it. You can see the image here. Can you not see an image on the screen? Okay. Let me see. What else is an important tag that we should cover? Okay, yes, anchor tags. Anchor tags. So do you have any idea what an anchor tag is? What? No, an anchor tag is a link tag. It's used to open links. So if you want to open a link, this one is a close. You have to close the tag. So we just call A. The next thing that comes after A is href. So href in anchor tag is just the same thing as this source in images. Is to kind of tell you what location do you want to open. So it's href equals to. Then we have a link. Let's just use I don't know, because why not? And there are now more things we can pass in here. Like, do we want it to open like that? Is called target. Do you want it to open on a new page? You want so sometimes when you click on link, you click to a new page. Sometimes you open on that page you are in. Sometimes you'll be a pop-up window, all those stuff. Then you can there are plenty things you can pass it here. So you now close like this, then you can see it automatically close that because anchor tags have to be closed. Within here, you're now going to pass in what you want the anchor tag, what you want to attach to the anchor tag. It can be a button, it can be an image, and it can be a text. So let's push the image inside here. Or let's just use a text. Let's just say click here. Let's save it. So it's going to come, I think it's going to be blue. So if I were to refresh our page, you can see it here. So you're seeing it's on the same line. Remember, I told you it's not every single thing that starts from a new line. So if we want this one to appear below it now, what tag are we going to use? Why call it backslash? So if we
What
wanted
did you call it?
a
Breakdown.
break tag, so if we wanted to break it, we'll just pass in our BR tag here, save it, and then run our code. So if we clicked on it now, okay, it's because we just use google.com. Let's use the normal href and everything. Let's use normal. Ugh. Let's just go and copy a link, I beg. Let's just copy a link. And this is it here. It's H is an anchor tag. Let's just copy a random link. Yeah, I'm not even connected to the internet to even start with. But I can see now the link up here has changed to stackoverflow.com because that is the link that we passed in there. Alright. Now if you wanted to create a link that maybe you wanted to leave it blank for now because you didn't have the link on you, you just use a hashtag. So if you put a hashtag, there's going to identify it as a link. It's not going to just throw an error or anything, but it's not going to redirect you anywhere. It's just going to remain on the page you are currently. So let's just leave a hashtag for now. All right. Next, okay, we've covered all these ones. We've covered all these. We've basically covered the basic introduction to Python. How do I keep calling Python? We've covered basic introduction to HTML. All right. So let me introduce you to something called attributes. So attributes are passed within your tags. So right. So your attributes kind of like an extra information about the tag you're currently working on. Take for example, inside this image tag, this source is an attribute because it gives more information about the image tag. It tells us what the image we want to open is. This width is an attribute. This height is an attribute. So anything passed within a tag that isn't the tag itself, anything that complements your tag is an attribute. This href here is an attribute. If we're to call it style, it will be an attribute. Do you understand that? Alright. Alright. We've done headings. We've done paragraphs. Alright, let's jump into style. So I'm going to give you a quick preview of what CSS is. So in CSS, there are three main methods of implementing CSS. There is external CSS, which is when you now link to the file. We're not going to touch that today. Then there is the um, external, internal, and what do they call the third one? I've forgotten. Let's say they call it. Okay, inline, internal, and external. All right. So um external is when you are going to create a whole new CSS file and you write your code there, then you now link that CSS file to your current file using the link rel, whatever. Then the second one, internal, is when with you, there's a CSS, there's a style tag. You just call it at the inside the head tag. Remember your head tag, you call it here inside the head tag. Then the one we're now going to touch today is inline. So inline, you're going to make use of the style attributes. So let's style this let's style our paragraph. So how do you think we're going to call this attribute from all the other attributes that we've written so far? How do you think we'll call an attribute? No. Source is an attribute. So we cannot use an attribute to call another attribute. We'll just call the name of the attribute style equals to an inverted comma. It's not the same thing that we did here. The name equals to an inverted comma. The name equals to an inverted comma. Then inside the style tag, you now start. We're now going to start implementing CSS code. So we'll just work with this CSS code. If you want to change the color of a text, you just color, sorry, color, that is color without a U. And you now pick the color you want the text to be. Then you now close it with this. What do you call this stuff? This dot and comma. Okay, you close it with that. You now save it and you run it. So you can say our paragraph is a different color. So CSS has so many things. We can use CSS to do so many things. So once we jump into CSS, we're going to see it. But whenever you jump to CSS, now this inline code is just when you want to implement a very basic thing and you don't want to have to start creating a new class and you only want to affect a specific part of your code. Or when you're using internal, it may be the code you're writing is a very small code and you don't want to like start creating so many new files. But if you start working with a large project, I'll advise you to create a new file. But today we're not talking about CSS, so we can forget about that. Alright. So there's this stuff called text formatting. So this is like different ways that your text can be displayed. So I'm just going to quickly brief through it. So if you want to make your text look bold, you can do so by enclosing the text in the B tag, that is the bold tag. So we can just come here. Let's just duplicate this. Oh no, let's just jump into it. We'll just do one after the other and just go. So the first one is the bold tag. So that's just B. We'll just type in bold here and we save it. You can see the tag is bold now. So another alternative to this bold is the strong tag. Although strong is not exactly to make your text bold, it's to make your text strong, but the text will pretty much look the same. So that when you're now going to make use, you use the strong tag. So there's a HTML cheat sheet. I'll give the HTML cheat sheet. So you can see the code didn't change. The appearance didn't change. So same thing for italics and emphasis. So you know italics, you want to make it slant like cursive. So italics is just I. You save it. You run it. You can see it has slanted now. And it's still going to look the exact same if you were to make use of the emphasis tag. Still the same. Then some other ones you have okay, look at this one. This one is mark. So MARK. So it highlights the text. Then you have small. So small is going to obviously reduce the size of the text. You can see the text size it has this. If you also want to start, you can use CSS to do font size and change the size of your text, but make your text larger or not. Then delete is going to like strike out the text, like cross out. You know all these our business don't want to do sale, so previous price will now strike through the price when I put you can do that. So you just have del control S, so you can see it will strike through the text. Insert, there is a INS. So you can see there's this underline under it. So basically, you're just still typing it. Then there's the subscript and the superscript. So subscript is to make the text below. So let's just sub. So the text is going to be like base two or base something. You know how you're working with base now. So it's sub they use for that. Then super is just raised to the power of. You can just sit down to remember it. So you just change the B to P. All right. So there are a few more other stuffs to use when you want to start formatting text. So you can just you have HTML cheat sheets. I'll send you a HTML cheat sheet. I'll link the cheat sheet in the description below for all of you who are watching this video. So using the HTML cheat sheet, you can just preview the code for yourself. And let's see, it's just not they're talking about comments. All right, so let's end this part here. If you guys want to see the continuation of the video, I'm going to create a playlist where everything is going to be linked in. But yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and share this video, and I hope to see you guys next time. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.